Previously on, she rejected the king's love, and this happened. In the Kingdom of Azura, the tale of betrayal, love, and vengeance continues to unfold. King Cophetua's wrath, ignited by Nana's rejection, unleashed a curse that tore the kingdom apart, separating the young lovers, Nana and Quay, and condemning them to a life of torment. Their love, however, remained unbroken, setting them on a path of relentless determination to reunite and defy the king's dark powers. Years later, the curse reawakens with a vengeance, threatening to bring ruin to Azura. As the kingdom teeters on the edge of destruction, a new hero emerges. Nala, the lost child of Azura, born of the royal bloodline and the Eldrid lineage. With strange powers she barely understands, Nala is thrust into a perilous journey to uncover the truth about her origins and the curse that haunts her family. Guided by the Eldrid Five, a group of skilled warriors, sorcerers, and wise advisors, Nala embarks on a quest that will test her courage, resolve, and heart. As she delves deeper into the secrets of the past, she discovers the horrifying truth about her father, King Cophetua, and the ancient pact that bound the fate of her kingdom. In a desperate bid to save Azura, Nala faces an impossible choice: sacrifice herself to extinguish the eternal flame and lift the curse, or find another way to save her people without losing her life. The ritual that could end her life instead transforms her into a being of unimaginable power, reborn with the heart of a phoenix. With the curse broken and the kingdom restored, Nala ascends to the throne, guided by the wisdom of her Eldrid allies and the strength of her renewed spirit. Her story becomes a legend, a tale of love, sacrifice, and redemption, reminding the people of Azura that even in the darkest times, love can be the most powerful force of all. Stay tuned for part 3 of the story. In this third and final episode, we are delving into the origin story about the House of Eldrid and the House of Cophetua, how they started out and how Nala managed to reunite the two warring families as she ascended the throne. It is the story of the Eldrid's curse and the prophecy of the awaited heir, a savior that will rid the kingdom of the impending doom. In the dawn of time, when the world was still new and magic was still a nascent force woven into the very fabric of existence, the Eldrid family emerged as a powerful and wise guardian of the ancient Kingdom of Azura. The Eldrid family were a people deeply attuned to the natural world, renowned for their exceptional mastery of magic and their profound connection to the natural world that surrounded them. Their magic flowing through the veins of the earth, the tides of the seas, and the winds of the heavens. The Eldrids lived in harmony with the land, drawing upon its energy to fuel their spells and incantations. Their magic was intricately tied to the cycles of nature, the ebb and flow of the tides, the phases of the moon, and the rhythms of the seasons. This deep connection to the earth and its elements made them formidable allies and respected advisors to the House of Magi, royal family of Azura. And their influence grew as they used their wisdom and magic to guide the rulers of Azura. The Eldrids were revered not only for their power, but also for their wisdom and humility. They understood the delicate balance of nature and the consequences of disrupting it. As advisors to the King Magi and protectors of the realm respectively with the House of Cophetua, they ensured that the kingdom flourished, its lands fertile, its people prosperous. The bond between the Eldrids and the House of Cophetua was strong, forged through mutual respect and a sacred pact that promised protection and honor for the Eldrid family in exchange for their counsel and magic, to protect themselves from any unforeseen animosity, and to ensure their continued influence. The House of Eldrids formed a sacred pact with the royal House of Cophetua. This pact was a solemn agreement that promised mutual support and protection. The Eldrids vowed to serve as advisors and protectors of the realm in exchange for the royal family's protection and honor. The pact was sealed with a powerful ritual, binding the two families together in a bond that was meant to last for generations. However, as the centuries passed, the balance began to shift. The influence of the Eldrids grew significantly. They became integral to the kingdom's prosperity, using their wisdom and magic to guide the rulers through both good times and bad. Their counsel was sought in matters of state, agriculture, and even in times of war. However, their power and wisdom also made them targets for jealousy and fear among those who sought to undermine their position. The House of Cophetua, once humble and just, became consumed by ambition and greed. Their desire to consolidate power led them to view the Eldrids not as allies, but as threats and rivals. Whispers of jealousy and fear spread through the palace corridors, and soon they began to plot the downfall of the Eldrid family. The House of Cophetua sought to suppress the Eldrid's magic, exploiting their wisdom for their own gain, while denying them the honor and protection promised in the ancient pact. They viewed the Eldrids not as allies, but as obstacles to their ambitions of ascending the throne. In no time, they did achieve their ambition, overthrowing King Magi and taking over as the ruling house. However, as time passed, the House of Cophetua began to forget their obligations. They grew complacent, severing the pact and invoking a curse upon the House of Cophetua. The one sacred bond was severed, and the Eldrids were cast out of the palace, their power diminished but not extinguished. In their exile, the Eldrids warned the royal family of the consequences of their betrayal, a curse that would one day bring ruin to the Kingdom of Azura. The curse was born from the betrayal of the Eldrids. In their sorrow and anger, they made the forbidden chant and incantations. A very powerful force that had been dormant for centuries was unleashed. The skies darkened, and a great storm swept across the kingdom, uprooting trees and flooding villages. The land, once fertile and green, began to wither, and the people of Azura were thrown into despair. The curse had been set in motion, and the kingdom teetered on the brink of destruction. The then-ruling House of Cophetua and the other royal families agreed, and sent emissaries to make entreaties with the House of Eldrid to forgive and forget, return back to Azura Kingdom, and reclaim their position. But they refused. In their words, they had found a home in Kuta Kingdom where they felt welcomed and were not in a hurry to leave. They had fully integrated into the political affairs of the land and won't want to disappoint their host. In their magnanimity, they agreed to stave off the coming danger in Azura Kingdom temporarily. There was no permanent cure for the curse of that magnitude until it runs its full course. The curse will be dormant for now, waiting for the moment when the royal family's actions would awaken it to complete its circle. Amidst the chaos, whispers of the prophecy began to spread. The people spoke of a child, the heir to the throne, who would be born with both Cophetua and Eldrid blood, and who would have the power to break the curse. But the child had not yet been born, and the kingdom's future remained uncertain. This later prophecy, passed down through generations, foretold of a time when the curse would be reawakened and unleashed again from the actions of the Cophetua family. Only a union of the two royal bloodlines, Cophetua and Eldrid, could restore balance to the kingdom. The prophecy spoke of a child who would reclaim the throne that would have been lost to the House of Amma. This child would be the key to restoring harmony and peace to the kingdom, bridging the gap between the two families that had once been united. Centuries later, the Kingdom of Azura was ruled by King Amma, a proud and stubborn man who had long since forgotten the ancient pact with the Eldrids. The kingdom was prosperous, but beneath the surface, unrest began to stir. The people lamented the strange occurrences, crops failing, rivers drying up, and storms raging without warning. The king dismissed these signs as mere coincidence, unwilling to believe that the ancient curse could be real. But the curse was real, and it was reawakened when King Cophetua refused to marry Yeshin after impregnating her, a noble woman and a woman of great potential, who was of Eldrid ancestry. Yeshin, a woman of great beauty and wisdom, had been chosen by the Eldrids as required by the prophecy after the required number of years to be the key to breaking the curse. Her union with the king would unite the two bloodlines and restore balance to the kingdom. But King Cophetua, blinded by pride and ambition, rejected her, setting in motion the events that would bring the curse to life. This singular decision of the king threatened to plunge the kingdom into chaos and destruction. Unknown to him, it was his destiny to marry Yeshin and break the curse forever. The heir, A child born with both royal and Eldrid blood was the key to breaking the curse and restoring balance to the kingdom. By mounting the throne, she would unify the two bloodlines, rekindling the Eldrid's magic and renewing the ancient pact that had been so carelessly discarded. The fate of Azura rested on her shoulders, and the weight of history pressed heavily upon her. As the story unfolds, the heir must confront the challenges posed by the curse and the complexities of her lineage. She will face trials that test her strength, wisdom, and resolve. The journey will not only be about reclaiming the throne, but also about understanding the true nature of power and responsibility. The Eldrid's magic, once a source of pride, will become a double-edged sword, as the heir learns that with great power comes great sacrifice. Lyra Flynn was the first to find Nala. She had been tracking the movements of the royal family for years, waiting for the moment when she would be called upon to fulfill her duty. When she discovered Nala's existence, she immediately took it upon herself to protect the young heir. Lyra's loyalty and prowess in battle made her the perfect guardian, and she quickly became a mentor to Nala, teaching her the ways of the Eldrids and preparing her for the challenges she would face. Kael Darkhaven soon joined them, his dark magic proving to be a valuable asset. Kael was drawn to Nala by a deep sense of guilt and a desire for redemption. He had made mistakes in the past, and he saw in Nala an opportunity to right those wrongs. His motives were still unclear, but his power was undeniable, and he offered his aid to Nala in her quest. Lila Song, too, was drawn to Nala. Lila's connection to the natural world made her a valuable guide, helping Nala understand her Eldrid heritage and the power she would one day wield. Lila's gentle nature and deep wisdom provided comfort and insight as Nala struggled to come to terms with her destiny. Aaron the Wise, who had served the royal family for generations, was the final piece of the puzzle. He had long known of the prophecy and had been preparing for this moment for years. His knowledge of the kingdom's history and the workings of the curse made him an invaluable advisor to Nala. He knew more about the prophecy than anyone else, and he guided Nala in her quest to break the curse and reclaim the throne. Among these allies was Riven Blackwood, the charismatic and cunning noble with secrets of his own, who had long been a thorn in King Amma's side. Riven's true motives remained unclear, but his influence and charm made him a valuable ally. He used his connections and resources to gather support for Nala. As Nala trained and prepared for her destiny, the kingdom continued to slowly burn. The curse's effects grew more severe, and the people of Azura began to lose hope. King Amma, still blinded by pride, refused to acknowledge the prophecy and continued to rule with an iron fist, even as his kingdom crumbled around him. The Kingdom of Azura was at a crossroads, and the actions of the heir was going to determine its fate. The question on everyone's lips was if she would be able to unite the two bloodlines and break the curse that has haunted her family for generations, or if the shadows of the past will continue to loom over the kingdom, threatening to engulf it in darkness. But Nala was not alone. The people of Azura, tired of suffering and desperate for change, began to rally around her. Ordinary villagers, once content to live in peace, rose to the occasion, ready to defend Nala and her quest. They were joined by unlikely allies, individuals from all walks of life who recognized the importance of Nala's mission and were willing to risk everything to see her succeed. And succeed she did, returning Azura to its lost glory, uniting the two great families, House of Cophetua and House of Eldrid, who were impressed upon to once more have a strong representation in Azura Kingdom. Old and still beautiful Nana, the beggar maid in Quay, and their other children were relocated to Azura. Their senior daughter wouldn't take no for an answer. It was an order from the queen, and they happily obeyed. They probably lived happily ever after. The royal historian didn't specify,